I can't take it anymore.
Good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning, Blurtstars, wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the Blurt.
We acknowledge the First Nations peoples of this land, the traditional custodians, and pay our respects to the elders past, present, and future. We recognise the ongoing impacts of colonisation and the importance of a voice to Parliament to ensure the sovereignty and self-determination of First Nation peoples is respected and upheld. We commit to working together towards a just and equitable future for all Australians.
Hi, I'm Keely, and tonight I'm coming to you from Wurundjeri country, Kulin Nation of the Woiwurrung people. Sovereignty was never ceded, always has been and always will be Aboriginal land. And on this wonderful, the 4th of June 2023 at 11 past 8 p.m. in the evening, I welcome Wency.
Good evening, and yes, you're right. My name is Wency, and I'm also coming to you from the Wurundjeri lands of the Woiwurrung peoples. Sovereignty was never ceded, so yes.
It's quite funny when you say that. It's like,
I know.
that's right, he is too. I totally forgot.
But tonight we're about 10 k's away instead of the usual 1,200 or whatever it is.
900 or whatever it is, yeah.
No, it'd be more than that, because Sydney's 900.
So no, you're right. Yeah,
it's about 2,000 k's.
It's bloody long way. No, you're right. Bloody long. At least a season away.
Yes. Although it has been raining there the last few days, I believe. So
yes, but I bet you it hasn't been 6 degrees.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
How are you handling that down here at the moment? It is quite cold. There's no doubt about it.
Not very well.
It's reminding you every reason why you moved up to Queensland.
Yes. What time's my flight back? I'm still enjoying the time here despite my frozen feet.
Yes. Well, you've been a busy boy since you've been here. You've been doing lots of stuff. You've been helping your mum out. You came out with us and had a few beers, and we went to the footy and had a great win and blah, blah, blah. And since you've been here, you sort of haven't been stopped. I mean, this must be one of the first time you're sitting down, apart from when you're at work, I'd imagine.
Yeah, not including work, which I am always sitting at, and that's probably why I get cold feet.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, but in the evening.
Put your nanny blanket on.
I won't pan down with the camera down here, but
I know when we went to the football and you were like, you had your little nanny blanket on. I'm like, oh, that's so nice.
Yes, I did ask for your scarf, your second scarf, which is quite funny because that's your in case we lose scarf.
That is correct. It is. And I must admit, there's been no recent use of that all this year.
No, it's been pretty rare.
It has been very rare indeed. But something that isn't rare, and it comes around every year, and we should always celebrate it, as we have tonight, celebrating the NAIDOC week. I know there's a whole bunch of events on this week, Wency. Have you got any sort of history or anything behind NAIDOC?
I've got the theme of the week this week, which is
yes, nice.
Yes, so their theme is for your elders. So basically, they're looking at the fact that the elders play an important role in communities and families, especially with First Nations people. They knowledge holders, they nurture, advocate, they're teachers, survivors, leaders, they work hard for everyone. So so it's really celebrating them, and I guess in the year of the referendum, we could look to the elders to get some inspiration and knowledge as to where we should head beyond this year. So I think the theme there is pretty accurate for what we're going through.
Yeah, look, I couldn't agree more with that. I mean, I changed our Twitter handle to vote yes, #vote yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, for me, it's just such a no-brainer. It's just so easy. Something that we can actually do is sort of, of the white race, if you like. 'Cause we're obviously not First Nations. So anyone that's got any sort of Anglo-Saxon history of any kind is going to have some sort of ancestral sort of string that will tie them back to the violent history of this land. And none of us sort of can get away with it. And I mean, the very, very least we can do is listen to what they're saying in the Uluru Statement, which is such a beautiful gift. And I gave it to a mate of mine this week, actually, because we had a conversation about it, and he was sort of like, unfortunately, he was one of those sort of guys that was like, well, yeah, but, and then you get
the old but. Ending a sentence with a but.
So I'm but the thing is, I'm trying to come to this. If it's a cordial conversation, I'm more than happy to have a cordial conversation. Like if it's not antagonistic and it's it's not ridiculous. Like, say, for instance, in the opposition attorney general, which says if you don't know, vote no. No, if you don't know, get fucking educated. Seriously.
Find out the information first before you vote no.
Exactly right. So I wish, because that's such an easy out. And this is interesting, actually. I wanted to bring this up this week because we did quite a bit on the Yes campaign last week in a segment, Indelible Indigenous, which is out now as a mini ep on the Blurt channel. You can get it, I think, on Twitter or on Substack, etc., etc.
Spotify, even Apple Music.
Well, anywhere pretty much that does podcasts. And it was all about Indelible Indigenous last week. And the thing that I was thinking about is with the no campaign, as I said, it's just so easy to say no. It's so ridiculous. But also with the polls that you were talking and discussing about last week, the Guardian Essential poll, as you know, they have an essential poll. They poll different statistics. I think it's each month or something, and they have a podcast on it. And one of the last ones I listened to, they said that they're going to be doing a Guardian Essential poll on the referendum, and the question will be formulated, because even they don't believe that the way the questions are being asked in the Resolve poll and some of the other polls that are more towards the right and moderate to right, but definitely not left leaning polls, to find out exactly sort of what exact question. Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure I voted yes for the Republic, but as we've discussed on this show, and Vicky, a fantastic number one viewer and listener, has said before, it was a mouthful. It was an absolute shit show of a question.
Yeah.
And how it did that on purpose. So that people would vote no. And well done him, because they did.
Yeah.
So
which is what the the coalition and other parties are doing these days, is just sowing the seed of doubt and fear and unknown to make people go, oh no, we can't vote yes because we don't know what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I heard Spud the other day banging on about, excuse me, how he grew up in a poor sort of house. They didn't have a lot of money, but his parents worked really hard, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What he forgot to talk about then was the fact that, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to clear my throat.
Can't hear if you're back on.
No, I'm back on now.
Okay.
You would have heard that. You definitely would have heard that. You 100% would have heard that. But anyway, he didn't talk about how he had a directorship sort of passed down to him when he was about 20 something, and he banged on about buying his first house when he was like 20 or something. Now, I'm pretty sure he's yours and my age. right?
Yes,
He's around
probably.
about 50 something.
Mm.
So that means 30 years ago. What year was that? 30 years ago. What are we? 23,
Mid
7?
90s.
Yeah, 93. 93. So I don't know about you, but in 93, $93,000 was a shizen load of cash.
Hmm.
And
Easily would have bought a house. Easily.
Well, easily.
Especially here in Brisbane back in
Well,
the time.
oh yeah, you probably would have bought a town in Brisbane for 93 grand.
Mm.
and the mayor.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, and even not seriously, yeah, he apparently owns like 22 or 23 properties now. So he's trying to, he's trying. I mean, there was a time where he had to, he had to say, because it was a conflict of interest he had, because he said, "Oh, I forgot about that $1 million building I owned. I better declare that."
Yes.
So
Funny that.
he's a man of the people. He's a man of the
Of course
people.
he is.
I mean,
Of course.
but anyway, yeah,
Got
yeah, absolutely, yep, no,
Got a
definitely.
comment here from Vicky. Your point was spot on last week about which states the Yes campaign should be focusing their efforts on, and that's absolutely right. The states where most likely we're going to get a no vote, which will be Tasmania, Queensland.
Queensland, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no, Queensland is the big one. If we get Queensland, we'll be right, I reckon.
Definitely. I'm not holding my breath on Queenslanders to get us through this referendum.
No, me either. But if we don't get Queensland, we'll probably get. I would have thought we'd get South Australia. I'd be surprised if we didn't.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think Victoria and New South Wales definitely yes. They'll vote yes.
Yeah. And Canberra will. So that's 3.
Yeah.
But that doesn't count, does it?
No,
ACT
they don't
doesn't
count. No. Poor Territorians.
Yeah, Northern Territory, they don't count either. West Australia, you'd think so. Look, I personally think it will. I think it will get through. I really do. But it's just, they just have to go hell for leather. And I apologise. I was meant to be at a Yes 23 campaign this weekend, but I was sick as a dog on Saturday and just got better on Sunday. So I didn't think it was a good idea to pull myself up on my bootstraps and go out there and spread it to everyone else. So
yeah.
I'm nice and isolated at the moment, but
yes, we don't want those lurgies getting around.
No, absolutely. Talking about lurgies, I heard something's going on with our alien friend in Twitter. What's going on?
Oh God!
Talk to me. What's going on? What's happening?
Apologies for any children listening out there, but what the fuck is Elon Musk doing to Twitter? First, he can't make up his mind about verified accounts. Yes, got to verify them. No, we don't. Oh, we'll change the rules for that. Blah, blah, blah. That was last year. Then he allows... Yeah, pretty much the dickhead. Then he allows back the 60,000+ accounts that have been banned before he took
the Nazis,
over.
Bring the Nazis
and all
back.
the far right and good old Trump. Now the twit, no pun intended, has decided to limit how many tweets you can see in a day. So first he announced, of course, on Twitter, announced that verified accounts, these are the ones that cost $8 a month, will be temporarily limited to reading only 6,000 posts a day. Free accounts, like what we have on the Blurt or my own personal one, 600 posts a day. And if you're new and unverified, it's only 300.
Sorry, hold on. Can you just back the truck up? Can you just back the truck up for 2 seconds?
Yes.
Just 2 seconds. Did you say that people are limited to reading only 6,000 posts a day?
Yes. So that's for a verified account. So they're the important people.
What the? But what else are they doing if they're doing that? I mean, Jesus, 6,000? Are you kidding me?
I don't know. Well, don't forget, a lot of these verified ones probably have bots or a lot of those things are automated to send posts. But this is in the reading. So even when you're scrolling through your Twitter feed, each one of those posts has been counted. So if you scroll enough, you can easily get to 600. And yes, Vicky, to answer your question, are you guys even on Twitter? Yes, we are. And I've got it in the on the ticker tape just below. It's
just
at
a question.
Blurt
Just a
New.
question to
Yes.
Vicky. Yeah, just a question to Vicky. How long has Vicky been following us? And how many times have you given out the Twitter handle on this freaking show? Seriously.
I reckon
my
she's
goodness.
just helping us out, just to get our brand out. Blurt New at Twitter. So
Yes,
hours
very
after
nice,
Twitface decided to post that, he changed his mind and increased the numbers. So 8,000 for verified accounts, 800 for unverified accounts, and 400 for new unverified. And then hours later, again on the same day, he increased it to 10,000 posts for verified, 1,000 for unverified, and 500 for new and unverified. Man, I swear this guy is totally unhinged.
I reckon you can basically, on each one of those occasions, you can just sort of time when he's taking his Prozac. That's what's happening. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
It's
So just the fact of limiting all of that has got to be bad news. It sends a bad message to advertisers because you want eyeballs on your Twitter feed. So because the problem is once you reach that limit, you see nothing on Twitter. It's just a blank page. You can't even see your own posts that you've tweeted. So
well, we're very lucky. We're never going to have that issue.
Yes, exactly. Okay, misunderstood. Vicky meant us personally. Right. So yes, I do have a personal one,
but
separate
hardly. I don't use it very often.
I do. I use it for following organizations or things that I am interested in, but I rarely ever read comments because after the first one or two, sometimes they get quite nasty. So I just haven't bothered. So it's usually because I'm following an interest.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem, hey? You just get sucked in far too easily, and I found myself with our Blurt channel. I'll be going through something, someone will go, "Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting." You go, "Oh, Jesus, that guy's unhinged," and then I'll have a look at I'll go back to the dude, and then usually he's a dude, and then I'll go back, and I'll go back through the Twitter, and then I'll actually have a look what he stands for, what his posts are, and go, "Oh God, not another one of them." And it's, I mean, I'm happy with a discussion that's, as I say, that it can even be robust. It doesn't necessarily have to be cordial, but when you start sort of just basically sort of besmirching completely someone's idea just because it's completely different to yours without even really contemplating for 2 seconds. I know in the past I can absolutely hold my hand up and say I've done that, and I am definitely not doing it now, but I am striving to be better at having those conversations because that's the only way we can do it. We got to talk.
Yeah, exactly. There is some good news as an alternative platform. Instagram.
What's that one called?
So our good old friend, the other nutbag, Zuckerberg.
Yes.
Yes, he, through Instagram, is about to launch Threads, which is their new social media platform.
Won't be on that.
I have signed up for it. I am curious to know what it's going to be all about and see if it's any better to Twitter. So that is coming out on the 6th of July, so only 2 or 3 days away for us here in Australia. And the other alternative, which is an invite only, so you've got to join the wait list, is Blue Sky Social.
Yeah, I saw that. But what hasn't been mentioned is Spoutable. It's been up for quite a while now.
Exactly. So you've got the app on Android. It will be coming to the iOS pretty soon.
I do.
That's the only reason why I haven't used it is because there is no app for it for me.
No, look, that's fair enough too. I don't blame you. When you're using that sort of stuff on your phone and you're sort of using like a desktop version, it's a little bit crap.
Yeah.
But talk about something else that's a little bit crap. There's a dude that took 67 tablets a day in his quest to live forever. So William Tam takes 67 tablets to manage his diabetes and others normally prescribed for organ transplant recipients. At one stage, 36-year-old father was popping 67 pills a day. But he's neither a diabetic or an organ recipient. I just want to keep living forever, William told Insight. And then on June the 32nd, he got run over but no, he didn't. One of the drugs, William,
that would have been ironic.
Would have been pretty. But one of the drugs that William has taken in his pursuit of longevity is Rampancin, an immunosuppressant that is more commonly used to help stop the body from rejecting a donated organ. So he's obviously not scared about putting anything into his body. I wonder if he was anti-vaccine. That'd be interesting. What I thought I might do is just a tiny bit of show and tell here, because you might just go, what the actual? So I'm just going to show you this. Just have a wee look at this. You'll enjoy this. Anyone watching? This is pretty good.
Bloody hell, that's the concoction that he drinks or swallows every day.
That is ridiculous. Absolutely. William is following a diet, exercise, and supplement plan developed by Silicon Valley tech mogul Brian Johnson that aims to slow the aging process. And I think that's all.
And I know we can trust those tech moguls, can't we?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes. As far as you can program them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yes. Well, we will be back in a moment with a bit of science. But now, tiny bit of this.
When you give blood, you're more than just a blood donor. You're the lifeblood of Australia. Search Give Blood and book your donation with Australian Red Cross Lifeblood today. Give life. Give blood.
The Australia Institute produces high-quality research that has real-world impact, whether it's revealing the $10.3 billion in fossil fuel subsidies provided by federal and state governments last year, or our long-standing research advocating for a federal anti-corruption commission with real teeth. We change minds. To donate, head on over to australiainstitute.org.au.
Yes, absolutely. Do that, and we will be with science in 2 seconds. Just before we go into that, I'm remiss of me to say, as I spoke to you about earlier, Wednesday, we have a guest on the 18th of July from Lifeblood. They're going to be live with us on the show. Nice. And so not invasive sort of medical questions, but just sort of high level, what's happening, how do you, how's the plasma work, what's the difference between giving blood with plasma, blah blah, which is more painful, how do you set up, how long you've been in it, blah blah blah. So just all those.
I hope, can we get a live demo of them getting someone's blood out?
I'm thinking that's not going to happen. I'm just
oh well.
It would be good. But I can't see it happening. But
it'll be good viewing.
Anyway, yeah, it will be. Well, yeah, it would. 18th of July, that is happening around about 8:15 ish. So put that in your diary.
For that one.
Yeah, no, that should be good. It should be very good. So,
and one other thing before we continue and start off with science, I forgot to mention that our background is courtesy of NAIDOC Week website. So did want to acknowledge that that's where we grabbed that from, in case it wasn't obvious. So yes, so I just wanted to acknowledge that.
No problemo.
Okay, so we're up to science, aren't we? There we go. Science.
All yours, Wednesday.
Alrighty. Can we make electricity out of thin air? That is the question.
No, we can't. Move on.
Okay. All right. No, off to good news. Good news segment now. Thank you very much. Good old Nikola Tesla. It wasn't coincidental. Oh, it was coincidental actually. Twitter, Tesla, Elon
Yes.
Musk.
Yes,
But anyway,
yes.
Nikola Tesla, back in the early 20th century, spoke about and dreamt about making or harnessing electricity from the air that surrounds us through a concept that he called wireless power transmission. Still haven't achieved it yet, but it is still in the research phase. But Tesla at the time believed that the Earth could be turned into a huge conductor, and the atmosphere was could be used as a big electrical reservoir. He did make some experiments, which never eventuated because of funding. So Nikola Tesla was Serbian, I think, but it looks like he was based in America because a lot of his experiments were in America. And yeah, so he never got to test it or get any further with wireless power transmission. So it's been researched over the last few decades, but in May of this year, a team of scientists from the University of Massachusetts accidentally stumbled upon a method to convert humid air into renewable power. They were conducting an unrelated experiment using thin film made out of protein, but they observed that little film, it was only about 4 centimeters and really thin, actually absorbed moisture from the air, and it caused it to expand and contract. So it's just going up and down. So this is at micro level. That expansion and contraction they witnessed started generating electricity. So basically, nanowires or nanotubes, the water molecules would go into the little tube, so they're barely big enough for a water molecule to go in, but they were small enough, but it was big enough for the water molecules to start bouncing around in those nanotubes. And in doing so, every time you hit the walls of these tubes, it generated electricity.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, so they've accidentally come across that. Yeah, so these nanowires are less than 1,000th the diameter of a human hair. So that's how tiny they are. Yeah, so they're going to continue doing that research, and they're hoping in the next few years they'll be able to experiment with bigger film or that little protein thing and make them bigger, where they estimate if they can get something to the size of like a washing machine, it could be big enough to power a regular household electricity for a day or two.
Wow.
And
That's
yeah,
Jesus. Wow.
yeah.
How far away is this sort of this work for it to be, anywhere near
Hasn't
commercial?
said. I couldn't find that, but it's
Yeah.
obviously it's still in its
Infancy.
infancy, and yeah, the fact that it's only producing milliwatts of electricity,
Oh,
which obviously is nowhere near
no.
powering a house where you need kilowatts and kilowatts worth.
Yep.
There's also another research team based in Lisbon in Portugal who are also experimenting with nanotechnology, and they started around the same time back in 2015 or thereabouts, both of these different teams, and they're doing something similar, and they've got a European consortium of companies and research companies where they're investing lots of money. So hopefully within the next 5 or 10 years, they will also have something that can produce electricity at a cheap rate, as well as environmentally friendly, because you don't have to dig up the ground to produce this energy,
Yeah.
and things like that. So yeah, it'll be quite interesting to see where this takes off.
So okay, so if you're going to investigate this and create a sort of a bigger lab environment, so that obviously you can test this in a much bigger sort of situation than milliwatts. What's the next move? Do they? I don't know. Do they need to just grab a lot more sort of bigger test tubes? I don't know. How
Yeah.
do you...
I guess it's a bit like how they make chips in computers. Everything was obviously big in that respect of making a chip that was big, and then they got smaller.
Yeah.
This has already started small, and I think it's more about the efficiency and how do you stack all those nanotubes to something bigger to be able to capture more of that water molecule from the atmosphere, and which then stimulates whatever produces the electricity to
In
then
a nanotube.
capture it. Yeah, put
So
it into a battery.
what's actually in the nanotube?
I'm not too sure. That's something I couldn't work out. But the nanomaterials, who knows?
Right.
It could be. One of them was protein based. Doesn't mention what that is. Could be chicken. I don't know. Is that what they mean by protein?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Or it could be.
He's obviously watching too many of those KFC commercials. No doubt
It must be.
Shut up and take my money. Stick it in a nanotube.
Exactly. But yeah, or it could be also, hopefully not, but minerals dug out of the ground. Could be.
Yeah, see, this is why I started asking this question. I'm like,
yeah. But one of them is definitely protein based, and the other one I couldn't work out exactly where it's coming from. But if it is minerals, but if it's highly efficient, does that mean that even if you dug a small amount, it may be it produces quite a lot of electricity? I don't know.
Well, as you would say to me on certain segments, that sounds very much like work that you may need to do from home.
You mean homework?
Yes, very much. So.
That dreaded word, homework. Bringing back my high school years back. Thanks.
Anytime.
Yes. So that's my science bit for this week. I thought that was quite interesting, and we'll see where it goes.
I'd definitely like to follow up on that. I'm really interested what's in that tube, because as we know, when you're getting a good on one side, we're just fucking up something else. Classic example, as you've talked about multiple times, is solar cells on roofs. We know that's a really good thing for renewable electricity. We know it's really good to use the sun, et cetera, et cetera. We also know that the materials that build these solar cells are not recyclable, apparently.
Correct.
Or compostable.
Well, not all of it is recyclable. Parts of it are, but not everything is. And they only have a shelf life of 10 or so years.
Yeah. And some of it's even toxic, I think. So, So this is what I mean. But we will come back with a bit more science. But before we do, we might have a little bit from Alan Jones on the Cash App, I think.
Oh, nice.
Nothing hurts my soul more than getting a bunch of money from paid sponsorship. Cash for comment. I love it. Speaking of cash, have you tried the new Cash App? Send and receive money from anyone instantly with the Cash App. Oh, God. Say you want to get $10,000 from Valvoline just for mentioning the word Valvoline. Just give them your Cash App username and they can send it to you immediately. No questions asked. Download the Cash App today. Valvoline.
Yes, wonderful friend of the show, Dan Illich there. Actually, talking about Dan, he's done a fantastic little. It only goes for a couple of minutes with Mark Humphreys on. Well, I saw it on LinkedIn. If you get a chance, have a look at it. It's very good. If I can find the link, I'll send it to you. I think I posted it on Twitter somewhere. It's very good, very funny. Seriously, those guys should be making a series. I really hope they are, because I'd definitely watch it. It was fun. It was good.
Two funny guys, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. No doubt about it at all. I was going to say something else too, because I meant to say it before, but I totally it was
foggy brain. I don't blame you. You're still recovering from your cold or flu, whatever you're experiencing.
Look, true, all of that, but I just put it down to age. I'm not gonna blame my ailment for that. I don't know. It was there, and then it just left, and it just said,
and it might come
back. No, it might, but it may not. So good chance.
Or it might come back next week.
It may indeed. It is very, yeah, well, that's true. When I'm going up the stairs to bed. Oh, that's right. That's what I was going to do.
With the
On
Zimmer
July
frame as you're
4th.
walking down the hall.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. 100% correct. 100% correct. Okay, so I want to talk about earthquakes in Melbourne in particular.
Oh, what? We've had more?
Yes, we did. We did indeed. And in case you didn't know, because I think this is quite funny, this is a lady that can't get enough of saying earthquake. Just have a listen to this.
Was the quake felt?
Morning, Steph. Well, it feels like just yesterday I was reporting on the fact that there was an earthquake in Melbourne, and indeed I was. That was late last month. Now, there has been another earthquake in Melbourne overnight, this time a 4.6 magnitude earthquake felt 135 kilometres northeast of Melbourne near Rawson. Now, that one was felt at a depth of around 3 kilometres at around 1:30 a.m. this morning. Now, thousands got that rude awakening this morning, shaking up out of their beds to an earthquake overnight. Now, Geoscience Australia says around 6,700 people have reported feeling this earthquake overnight. Now, it was mainly Melbourne's eastern suburbs and southeastern suburbs that felt this earthquake overnight. But of course, people in Melbourne CBD did also feel the earthquake, and in South Bank, where I'm standing right here this morning, of course, earthquake Twitter exploded once again. People flocked to social media asking people, did you feel what I just felt? And indeed they did. There was an earthquake overnight.
There we go.
Of course, this
Number 8.
similar earthquake that was in Sunbury last month in May. Now, that one was a 3.8 magnitude earthquake felt at around 3 kilometres underground. And that one was described as the biggest earthquake Melbourne has seen in 100 years.
Which was
that one was 40 kilometres northwest of Melbourne CBD, but it was described as the biggest one, and it was felt as far as Bendigo and Hobart. But we are still waiting this morning to get from SES about how far and wide this earthquake in Rawson was felt. But Steph, I'm hoping this is the only earthquake for this morning.
That's the finish off.
Now, I did sleep through that one. I did not feel that earthquake at 1:30 in the morning.
I thought that was absolutely hilarious when I listened to that. I was killing myself. Now, the interesting thing about this earthquake is it wasn't an earthquake.
Oh, wasn't it?
That's what's interesting about it.
She just told us 10 times or more that it was an earthquake.
And that's because she's got no idea what she's talking about. But anyway, it was a 4.6 earthquake, if you like. But what it was a tremor. And they've done some investigation on seismic graphs, etc. And Stephen Carey, a geologist at Federation University in Victoria from the Seismology Research Centre, what they said is it is a tremor that was actually an aftershock of the magnitude 5.9 quake that took down one building in Paran in 2021.
How can it be aftershocks 2 years later?
Yes, absolutely. Because if you think about it, right, Christchurch had their massive earthquake, which was, I think, 7 or 8 or something. That's why it was so devastating, and it was so close. They had that in 2010. Now, they had something like, and I'm not kidding, it was something ridiculous in the thousands of earth tremors. So it was like 2 or 3 years after, they were still getting tremors.
Right.
And they were still around the 4. They've only just stopped getting them probably, and they're probably still getting them because it's hard with Christchurch as they get them all the time, but they definitely get more now because of that one. But I wanted to
they are on the fault line, aren't they? Or are they very close to a fault line? The
whole thing about the Christchurch one was they were not aware of this particular fault. It was news to them.
Right.
They weren't following this. I mean, a lot of the seismic activity all sort of happens down the Wellington sort of side, and it sort of goes down the west sort of New Zealand, and they get a lot of. I think they get quite a lot of activity in Auckland as well. As you can imagine, they probably get a bit around Rotorua and things like that, where there's a lot of sort of seismic activity happening, etc., etc. But Christchurch, as a rule, hadn't really ever had one that big. I think they did say that in a way they were waiting for it, because I think they sort of said it could happen at some stage. But anyway, so I did a little bit more research and reading, and it says usually aftershocks takes place in days, weeks, and months after a main quake. But it's not uncommon that there's occur several years after the plane or zone of the fracture adjusts to the main shock. So if you think of a plane as a broken surface, and you've had a movement along that surface, but it locks up and it puts additional stress on the areas nearby. And it's a continued process of adjustment as these regions along the fault adjust to shift in the position of the stresses. And that's why you get these tremors. Now, a lot of people have also been asking, are we getting more? And, people have been getting a bit, sort of freaked out, especially after the pandemic and all that sort of stuff. Was it plagues and earthquakes and all that sort of stuff?
What's
Nazis.
next?
It was only in May that magnitude 4 quake in Melbourne prompted more 26,000 reports from across Victoria and Tasmania. But the frequency of earthquakes, is it actually increasing? Well, actually, no, it's not. Seismology network is better now than it used to be, so they're picking up even more activity than they used to. They're slightly bit more frequent at the moment, but we don't have many. So this is what you could say is statistical clumping, as it were.
Okay.
So they're saying that the quake's epicenter sits within a belt of some of the oldest rocks in Victoria, which is pretty interesting, actually. They said I could show you a picture in a minute. Actually, all right, I'll just pop that up for a second. That one. So that's where the earthquake epicenter was.
Just east of here.
Yeah, just east of here. So here being Melbourne, for anyone listening or watching. They're Paleozoic rocks between 250 million and 500 million years old. So just a tad older than Howard. They form the backbone of Victoria right across the high country to the Grampians and west of the Grampians. And the basins to the north and south, and Murray-Gippsland Basin's ancient faults running north-south, northwest, southeast, but they're modern stresses on an ancient fault. As we always say, we'll have the links in the show notes. There's a little bit more on that, but I just thought that was, pretty interesting and
very
local
fascinating
as well.
Yeah, I've always found it funny how we call the tremors here earthquakes when I know in Chile, a tremor is really 5.
Yeah.
And an earthquake is anything bigger than that. I've only experienced.
If you don't have half a town collapse, that's not an earthquake.
Yeah, exactly. I do remember one time just laying in bed, chatting with my cousin in their house.
To talk about this on the show? Is that okay?
It's all innocent.
Oh, okay.
No, we're just chatting, and I remember hearing a rumble, and I actually
you reckon it's innocent?
Yeah. No, it wasn't me farting or him farting. Okay. But I thought it was actually a bus that had gone because we were close to a road, busy road behind us. And I said, "Oh, geez, that bus was a bit close or rumbled." And my cousin said, "No, that was an earth tremor." And then we found out it was about 4.6 or 5 on the Richter scale. And I went, "Holy crap." Because it did last for about 15 or 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's weird when you're in them. I mean, if you actually, they do. Very true. Very true.
What's that for, Luke? Keely?
Vicky has said that Chileans laugh at our earthquakes.
In inverted commas, that's right.
yes, they do indeed. That's very, very true. Look, I had a quick sciencey one. I'm going to bang through this one, but because I know how much you love it. But I'm just going to bang through this. There was 3 student pharmacists from University of Hawaii And they were studying and addressing the global public health threat of antimicrobial resistance, which, was always and still is a problem with vaccines.
Mm.
So the students, namely Alyssa, Yang, and Chai, are working under the supervision of Professors Leng Chin and Supakit. Now, I am not even going to try to pronounce that surname. Actually, no, well, give it a go.
Try it. Come on.
Wongwi Watthan Nukatit.
Okay.
Yep.
And can we have that again, please, sir?
Yes, we can. Wongwi Watthan Nukatit.
Okay. All right.
Something really terribly. I'm very sorry if you're listening to this show, Superkit, and I've pronounced your name very badly. I'm sorry. Sue me. The focus of their research lies in I love this word, synthesizing, yes, for the Kickstarter, silver nanoparticles using extract derived from Silas peruviana, which is locally known as the poha berry. And I will show you what a poha berry looks like.
Ooh, okay.
This is a poha berry coming at you.
Oh, can we zoom in a bit? Is that possible?
Yeah, I might be able to. That work? No. Let me see.
It's very small.
Is that grab you?
Yeah, okay. It's like a little tomato with ribs on it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Unripe tomato.
Or even like a lantern.
Yes, like the Chinese lanterns you hang.
Yeah. That's sort of more
That's
what
good
I was
description.
thinking. A Chinese lantern. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if they called them that or something. But and I've actually got a picture of the three scientists there too. So you can see them. They're the three girls, Yang and the professor and Alyssa Cam. So it's good. It's nice that it's all women doing all of this research.
Absolutely.
Because there should be more of it. The team's objective is to explore the potential of the natural products in developing their new therapeutic agents while ensuring safety, efficiency, economic viability. The students presented their research to the Burns School of Medicine biomedical scientists, and their work has also been accepted for a poster presentation at an annual research symposium. This is the important part. Antimicrobial resistance has become a significant concern due to misuse and over-prescription of antibiotics. As you know, so many people take antibiotics when they don't need them, that when they actually will need them, their body will probably already reject it. And I go, well, that's not doing anything. Yeah, that's right. So this stuff's, really important. And the other thing is we've got to stop taking antibiotics if we really don't need them.
Yeah.
Therefore, identifying alternative compounds with antimicrobial activity, especially plant-based compounds, is crucial. And it goes on, talks about nanoparticles, which are particles with diameters between 1 and 100 nanometers, et cetera, et cetera. But I'll put the link in the show notes. But I just thought it was interesting that these three student scientists are doing this sort of study because, we've got other scientists out there that are studying, the capacity of farts and whatever. And you're like, it's good to see that, women are doing the hard yards again.
Yeah.
So, good on you. Well done. And we'll have that link in the show notes.
Awesome.
So where are we now in the show, Wency? Give me a little bit of an update.
We are now about to go to some good news.
Good news, you say?
Yes. Because we need some, especially after the RBA didn't increase the rates today, which is absolutely great news.
That is good news. I don't want no bad news. Don't show me no dirty shoes. I just want the good news. Don't show me no dirty shoes. I just want the good news.
That is true. We do just want the good news because there's so much shite news as well. So,
exactly.
But look, you can go first with the good news, but we probably should just stick on the RBA for a second
Seeing as it is the title of our show tonight.
Well, true. It makes sense to do that. Yeah. So if you want to explain that, also, I had my title up somewhere. Where's my title? I'm trying to see where my title is. You can't see my title there. Can you see my title? No, you can't.
Oh, okay, no. There's only one way to do it.
Titles? No. You dropped titles. Nice work. I didn't know. Yeah, see, that's why you're CTO. Because I don't know how to do that. Yes, so as you can see, Governor Never Low. Did you like that?
Yes, I do like that.
Right.
I do like that.
There you go.
Governor Never Low.
Never low.
You never know if you never go low.
But he always goes high. So
yes,
there you go.
That's right.
Absolutely. So anyway, you had a little bit to say, and then you can crack on with your good news.
How many have we had now? 12 interest rate rises. We've now.
God knows, I have no idea.
I've lost count. Our mortgage is now $1,000 more per month than it was a year ago. So I'm glad he's paused it for a month.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of money.
Yes, it is. And I say he because I know there's a board, but from what I've read and what we've heard, he seems to be running the show.
He does, and he gets paid $1 million a year. So you know, when he starts saying to everyone else, "Yeah, look, you just hang on there, and I'll just keep putting your mortgage up. I'll take the mill."
Why don't you just go move in with other family members so it's cheaper?
Is that what he said? Did he actually say that?
He said something to that effect recently. Was it last month or the month before? Yeah. If you can't afford a house or rent, start sharing amongst family.
How old is this cat? Seriously.
His privileged white male.
I
don't know, 50, no, 60.
Privileged white male, free university, super cheap house whenever he wanted one, blah, blah, blah. Just goes on and on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's, anyway,
But anyway, we're here for good news, not that bad news, that part of it.
We
are.
But
yes, RBA was interest rate not going up is definitely good news.
Yes, it absolutely is. But you had even better news than that tonight.
I have even better news.
Brilliant. So I like to hear.
Yes. So a research chimpanzee called Vanilla, who is 29-year-old chimp, has been in captivity in research labs throughout her life, which is pretty sad. She survived the New York's Laboratory for Experimental Medicine and Surgery in Primates until she was about the age of 2, and it closed down in New York after new rules were implemented in the late 90s about how to humanely keep animals in captivity for research and things like that. But unfortunately for Vanilla, and I'm sure this is a story for many other primates, she always lived in cages or in enclosures that rarely ever saw the day of light, doing whatever experiments researchers do. So she only ever lived in 5-foot square cages or sometimes in garage-sized enclosures. But recently she was transferred to California, where that facility ran out of money, went out of business in 2019, and was also threatened by wildfires in that location in California. But this week, in the last week, the Save the Chimps organization, which is a very large privately funded chimpanzee sanctuary, organized for Vanilla to be transferred to a 3-acre property in sunny Florida. Now, the best part of all of this is her expression when she comes out of the lab or the enclosed space. She sees the outside world for the first time, and you look at her expression, looking at the sky, and she was coaxed by the dominant male, Dwight, I think his name was, he coaxed her out. It took her a while to get out, jump out of the window, the door, and then come out. So let me just play you this, and if you've got some tissues, just grab them.
Yeah, I think I'm going to need some. It sounds like it.
Yeah. All right.
For crying, obviously. No,
Of course.
Yeah.
All right. So I've just paused it there. You can see Vanilla just standing in the opening there, but
So Vanilla's been in that cage for how long?
in that case for a few months, but all of her 29 years she's been enclosed. So doing whatever experiments they've done on her. So all right, let's roll the tape.
Blue skies smiling at me.
So that's Dwight there.
Nothing but blue skies.
So she's looking at the sky there just in amazement.
Bluebird singing a song.
I can't believe what sort of nick she's in.
Yeah.
She's had to put up with.
Yeah, exactly. And for those who don't know, the song that's playing in the background is Ella Fitzgerald called Blue Skies.
I love Ella.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah, so little Vanilla is now free to roam this 3-acre property with many other primates who also were in captivity or in research labs. And she'll live there for the rest of her life. I don't think she could ever go, or any of these chimps could ever go to back to the wild. They're so domesticated, I guess. Wouldn't survive in the wild. But yeah, so she's got her freedom in a sense. No more research being done on her, and yeah, I thought that was quite cute and heartbreaking to see her so happy. Yeah, seeing the big old blue sky.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely wonderful. That is fantastic. And I think that needs a bit of...
Oh, hang on, I've got to get you back.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes.
Always forget that.
Yes, that's cool. Tell me when you're ready.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Merit some applause there. And Vicky says, "Oh, that is so very beautiful and sad. My heart."
Yeah, I know. It's just horrible that they have to put up with that shit from humans.
Yes, it's still
terrible.
happening to this day. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's very good news. She's now free, which is great.
Yeah. No, it is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I've got heaps of things that I could actually talk to about what we just sort of witnessed, because the book I'm reading at the moment, last night, it referenced quite a lot of bonobo behavior, which is another member of the monkey family.
Mm-hmm.
And it was it was talking all about the sort of the social, not experimentation, but how the social cues and different things happen in the hierarchy of the tribes and living where they live and not living where they live. So I would have imagined, especially from what I read last night, that monkey would have been so deeply depressed in their environment, and that's why I found it amazing to see what sort of condition she looked like. She was in pretty good condition.
Yeah. She must have been well looked after, but yeah, even so, when you're enclosed and you only see metallic bars or wire, whatever it is, it must, like you said, get you down, depressed. And as we know, primates are very similar to the way we operate and behave. So, yeah.
I mean, they've done enough study on it now, and they've sort of proved that, depression, anxiety, all those sort of things is far, far, far more in the cities than there are in country areas. Just because it's so much better to be out in nature, and especially when it comes to animals, where they should be in nature. So yeah, that's just, for me, it's even like triply good that she's back, because I know her mental health would have been affected so badly as well. So anyway, I noticed that it said, I think it was savethechimps.org if people want to donate to that. So yeah,
apparently they're doing a drive, and if you donate now, they're going to double it. So yeah.
There's a lot of that going on at the moment.
Yeah,
I mean, I've heard that so many times, but look, that was absolutely magnificent, and it was all about what good news is about. Now, mine isn't quite as heartwarming, but it's still good. It's still good, and I'm just gonna play something, and I'll see if you maybe have an idea of where I'm going with this good news. That doesn't go for very well.
Okay.
But
All right.
here we go.
Intrigued.
Here we go.
I am.
Don't worry, I haven't showed you the
Dabba-doo.
I'll show you the scene.
I know.
Here we go.
I thought it was Yabba Dabba Doo.
It'll come up. Yeah, no. There we go. Oh, it hasn't changed. That's a bit annoying. There we go.
Oh, what happened?
There we go. Now, why am I playing this? Why? What?
I thought the good news, we were supposed to be living like
Have
this
a look
now.
at that.
That's-
Living like this in what was that? What would you call that? That you just saw?
I
A
don't
flying
know.
car. That's
Flying
what
car,
you would
right.
call that.
Right, yes, true.
A flying car, he says and nods. Okay. So there's our flying car.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Seeing as we didn't get the hoverboard, the
No.
hoverboards that was promised,
No.
we get
didn't.
flying cars. Even better.
We did. That is our flying car. But there, as you can imagine, there's a few stipulations with this flying car. Although, here's good news.
You can't
because
fly
I
it?
always did think, well, no, not necessarily, but we probably can't. As you could probably work out why. But, 2023, I always thought we would be in a flying car. So it's good news to know that they've actually got one that apparently does fly. So the company, Aleph Aeronautics, announced it's received a special certificate from the FAA to allow its flying car. The FAA is like the Federation of, I think, automobiles in America type thing.
Aviation Authority?
Yeah, that. The Model A to fly for research and development purposes.
Hang on a sec.
So-
Can you go back a sec? Model A.
Yeah,
Wasn't that a Ford
Model A.
car when they were introduced? Model A?
No, I don't know. Wasn't that a T model Ford?
Maybe it was a T model. I thought it was Model A. Okay, all right. I'll take that back.
Yeah.
Carry on.
I'm not a car aficionado. I'm just talking about the flying car. The Aleph Aeronautics said its Model A is the first flying vehicle that can drive on public roads and park like an average car to receive clearance for flight by the Federal Aviation Authority, as you quite rightly said. It was given special airworthiness certificate for purposes including research, development, and exhibition. But he said that the vehicle is not the first of its kind to be issued with such a certificate. The vehicle takeoff and landing aircraft to be able to drive and park like a normal car. So it says, we're excited to receive this certificate, blah, 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 blah. This is one small step for planes and one giant step for cars. What's this dude said it? This is one small step for planes and one giant step for cars. ALS CEO Jim Duchovny said in his news release. The Model A has been in development since 2015 and was inspired by technology from film Back to the Future Part 2, which coincidentally takes place in the year 2015.
There you go.
The company is accepting pre-orders. So if you want to put your pre-order in, anyone listening,
Okay,
you want
yep.
the pre-order, companies accepting
All right.
pre-orders for the Model A. Yeah, okay, absolutely.
Easy.
Expecting it to hit the market in 2025. Yep, get your
It's
wallet
only
out.
2
Absolutely.
years away.
With a price tag of around about, yep. And what do you reckon the price tag is?
So my deposit of $100 will only need an extra $1,000.
Yeah,
No?
you're good.
Okay.
You're good. You read these situations really well. No, you do. You do.
How much do I expect to pay for a flying car? $1 million. Am I close?
Very nice. Very nice. That's it. Look, you're not bad. You're not bad. Let's just see if I can.
Now, I don't mean close in the imitation.
$1 million.
Yes, yeah, can't do that, but yes.
No, it's not. It's not quite as much as that, but it is slightly above our budget. It's
Okay.
the price tag of about $300K.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No, not okay. $300K. And well, the thing is, I think it's 300 US,
Right.
which
So
I
that's
think is
about $3 million.
$450. So New
Yeah,
Zealand.
okay. Yeah, true.
Yeah. The Model A has not yet been certified for public road travel by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. But there you go.
So-
There's a flying
so
car in
it's got
2025.
authority-
We won't be able to buy it, but at least it exists.
So it's got authority to fly, but not to drive. Is that what I heard?
I think you might be right. Has not been
That makes no
certified for
sense.
public road. That is true. That's 100% true.
There you go.
No.
All
Well,
right,
it's
so
hovering
it can
above the
only
road
fly.
anyway. Why does it give a shit? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, true. Is it
It'll-
autonomous as well? Is my question.
Yes. Well, now you're asking hard questions. I don't know. I'm not sure. It doesn't. No, it's definitely not autonomous. No,
Okay.
because that's gone so well for Tesla so far.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they've still got the court cases. They haven't gone away.
Oh, have
so-
they? Oh, I didn't know
Actually, oh yeah. They've still got court cases. They definitely haven't gone away because I think people that have been killed by their driverless cars over there in
Still
America.
happening.
And yeah, apparently the brakes are not doing what they should be doing, like stopping, and
Minor flaw.
you know, just little things.
Minor
like that.
flaw.
Yeah, it's just no. I think it's got quite a large flaw. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
but it's a big fault. It's a very
It
big
is
fault.
a big fault.
It's a very big fault. But yeah, actually talking about minor flaw, big faults. We're gonna have Trump Watch on back next week, so
Oh,
we'll be having a look at that.
we have to.
because
Oh,
crap
anyway.
is happening with that dude.
Is there?
Yeah, we do,
All right.
unfortunately.
All right. Let's
Yes,
hope it's
he
all
is. No doubt
good
about
news
it.
for
Yes,
us.
Yes, absolutely. So. Yes. Well, yes. So far, it's good because every time Jack Smith, the prosecutor, talks to someone, they tell him something and just goes, "Oh, good. I'll put that down." And then he's got Trump's words that he said himself, so he can just use that as well. So you know, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Thank you for joining us as usual, Vicky. Absolute pleasure.
Yes.
Brilliant. Really enjoyed
Always a pleasure. And what's on the show next week? We're doing French theme, I believe.
Oh, yes, it's Bastille Week next week. Yes.
Yes, it
Oh.
is.
We might have to
Bit
do
controversial
what is
next.
it? Dégustation du vin or something like that.
Oh, yes, please.
Wine tasting.
Yes.
So we'll have to.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have to get the wine bottle out. See if you can get a tasting note just for a wine.
I'll get my baguette and some croissants.
Yes. I'll see if I've
And
got
what
a
else is French?
blue beret somewhere.
Yeah.
See if I can find one. And I need my surrender flag as well. And
I might just have my hand in my jacket the whole show just to follow Napoleon.
yes, no, I like that. So so anyone listening or listening to the pod, when you get this, we are going to have a French theme next week because it is Bastille Week. We'll explain what Bastille Week is all about, what the Bastille was, a bit of French history. Should be a bit of fun. We'll probably talk about some French foods as we talked about, do some wine tasting, etc. So if you want to join us for that, do that. It'd be fun. It'll be very good. And the week after that, we'll have I think his name's Henry. Please don't hold me to that, but I think it is from Lifeblood, our guest, and that will
Looking
be
forward to that.
wonderful as well. Absolutely. So, thank you for everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon. Thanks, Wincy, as always. I'll see you very soon.
See you
Take it
later.
easy,
And next
people.
week I'll be coming from Meanjin, Brisbane. Bye, everyone.